Hey, what's up, everyone? How are we doing today? We are having one monster stream because we're going to be doing chapters 1174 all the way through to chapter one. Oh, geez, I can hear myself. I always mess up one thing. Jeez. There we go. Perfect. At least I know my audio works. Maybe I can boost the audio a bit. Hey, Dex, how you doing? Um, I think I'm gonna keep us from having any ambient music. Do we need ambient music in these streams? I wonder. Is there like an ambient background music I can put on that'd be like copyright free? Smooth, cozy piano jazz. Let's do that. Way too loud, Jesus. Probably way too loud. Okay, wait. Let me lower my audio. Good. Okay. I'm gonna try this. See if the vibes are good. um yeah, so how is everyone doing? Friggin' been a while since I had the chance to do one of these. But I'm looking forward to it. Cause like maybe this music is too chill, because these are gonna be some intense chapters. Um the dwarf's long mountain journey. Sure. Not too distracting. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it with the music, but I do want to look that up for next time. Um, yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. This has been the first stream in ages. Just gonna make sure I've linked this to everyone I need to. Okay. I think my housekeeping is done. Let me just check my model. Oh my god, my model. Okay, we're good. We're good. Let's go green for this. And yeah. Um, pull up chat. Okay, we're good to go. Hey Dex, you're lurking. Oh, sick, Fire Force. I've not actually seen Fire Force before. Is it any good? I heard it's got some obnoxious fan service, so I kind of avoided it. Okay, so we'll start with 1174 and we'll just work our way through. I'll try and provide any insights, but it's been 2 or 3 weeks for some of these, so I could be a bit forgetful. But yeah, we start off with a glorious cover spread of Roger and the dinosaurs. There was once a fan theory that Roger had Nami's sickness from Little Garden. This could actually be on Little Garden for all we know. Um, I'm not sure. Did Dory and Broggy know Roger's crew at this point? Or did Roger's crew go there after? Or did Roger's crew ever go there? Or was that just Giban only? I actually I have no idea. I think it could be either way. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't think Roger definitely doesn't have Nami sickness because that's like the what was it, the like 7 days disease where it lasts for like 7 days and then you die. Um, I don't think there was anything too interesting on Oda's note this time. So yeah, we'll just go straight into it. This is bad. That dream demon. It's not just the ship. but the whole cloud layer got blown away. This guy's incompetence is needs to be studied, you know. I do kind of like very strong but stupid characters. I don't mind as long as this is not the baseline of what the Gorosei will be. I mean, not the Gorosei, the Holy Knights, because he's just pathetic. He really is. He's just but he what Oda's done is pretty cool because usually we have the like super hateable characters like Orochi and Spandam, and they're like not the fighters. But this guy, he's super hateable and he's the fighter. So like, I guess in a way he's a very effective character. But I, I would be lying if I said that I didn't want a few more stoic badasses among them as well. So we start out with him saying, "Gunko, Gunko, stop the kids. We need to call off the plan for a bit. It's no use. Lord Emu's in there now, not her." So this whole thing, I mean, does this imply that Emu can't control Gunko's powers? That they're just on lock from when he takes over? That's a serious, serious like limitation to his possession power. Um, but I like, was he able to use Saturn's powers when he possessed him? He kind of just became this giant monster, but I don't know if that was like, it was still kind of spiderish, wasn't it? I don't know if like the Gorosei are an exception or if that's Emu's power that we saw with Saturn or what. Emu is able to fly as Gunko. He's able to sprout wings. So presumably he's actually got some kind of shapeshifting ability outside of his possession and his Domu Reversi. And being able to grant youth, apparently. Well, not youth. I think if he could grant youth, all the Gorosei would be like the five youngers. So he probably just freezes aging. When Saturn got his power revoked, he probably aged back to what he would be. Um, Although he doesn't seem to give this power to people on lower level contracts. It's interesting. But okay, let's assume he can't use the devil fruits because they represent like a different willpower from his own when he's possessing someone. That mean anything? I mean, okay, I suppose he can't ask Gunko to swap in now because Gunko is actually against this operation because of Brook. And he probably doesn't want to own up to Emu that he's messed up so big, like giantly. So, like maybe that's it. Maybe he just doesn't want to like own the mistake. Anyway, it's interesting. It like fuels a lot of speculation for later. We get to see a nice angle of Elbaf here with their identical houses, all in slightly different angles. Some of these staircases went to nowhere in one of the big color spreads. No, not color spreads, big 2-page spreads. And I actually saw someone wonder if Oda was using AI or something for that, which is, no, no, he wasn't. It's just the angle. Silly people. Anyway, the citizens are trying to break through the arrows with no avail. This woman's even trying to bite into them. That's how desperate they are. But nothing's leaving a dent. And Summer's just like, "That's useless, you fools. If that were possible, I'd do it myself." And then he gets the idea, wait a moment, those parents are trying so desperately to protect them, but can't get close to the kids because of the thorns. So they'll be forced to watch as the kids jump to their death. That's such a juicy way to die. Which is creepy as all anything. This guy is absolute scum. I love it. um, we can always snatch up more brats if we wanted. So that's something which I was wondering, like if these 10 were selected specifically because one of them was Ja Rule's granddaughter and one of them was like related to Oimo and all that. Like if they picked like the 10 most valuable kids, Colon especially, or if it was just a random 10. I think it was just a random 10. I guess Colon showed up later. Um, Colin, sorry. I'm actually reading his name as Colon now. I mean, Colon could be the reading for it. It's quite debatable. But anyway, I can hear it now. The sweet sobbings and screams of their parents as they plummet. This is gonna be so touching. And yeah, he's just friggin' he like announces to everyone, attention to brats and PTA members. Our initial plan to take the Tyke safely to the Holy Land has run into some unforeseen snafu. The cloud layer have been wiped away. The cloud layers have been wiped away. So, to be blunt, you kids are about to fall to your deaths. And he's like, there's nothing you can do about it, so enjoy your fall. And Oima is just like, okay, at this point, losing my arms is worth it, so he tries to grab it. And that does not end well. We've got. I don't know where. Because Oda gives no perspective. I don't know where um, Killingham is meant to be here, because it's such a zoomed in shot. We see he's somewhere where there's fire. So he could be at the school, just really high up. As a Quillian, I suppose he can fly. So he's just observing this. He's wearing the Celestial Dragon mask, which is cool. But what's actually pretty cool is that it's not a glass mask, which I think Charlos was wearing. This is like a dial that exudes a bubble, and it looks like a gas mask. So he puts it around his neck, and then it makes the Celestial Dragon bubble. I'm pretty sure the like Luffy, like when he punches him, he actually breaks the mask Charlos was wearing. So let me just double check this. Was Charlos not wearing a mask? Yeah, well, this is a big Mandela effect. Okay, wait, no, he was wearing a mask. Oh, the mask Charlos wears is generated from the back. Yo, I never noticed this. What? Wait, can I want to see the anime version of this. Yeah, he's definitely wearing the mask. Copyright, don't hurt me. No. Whoop, 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 whoop. What's going on? Okay, yeah, there's no glass shatter. Okay, I was wrong. So this is okay. I thought that maybe they got an upgrade in the last 2 years. Okay, so they're always made by Sabody-esque bubbles, I guess. Interesting, interesting. Uh, okay, so Oimo gets dragged along and has to eventually let go. It seems we can't really do anything while the arrow's around, and so like the parents are despairing, and um, Summers is laughing at them, and so then we get the most heartbreaking part of the chapter, which is like, I must have done something bad. This is divine punishment, isn't it? I was always told that when you get in trouble, that would happen. And the other kids are like, me too. If only I was good. If only I was a good boy. You guys really think we're gonna die because we're bad? And they're like, what? No way. I'll be a good kid from now on, I promise. Save me, I'm sorry. And then all the kids have guilt flashbacks, which is, yeah, not the best parenting technique, but people do that. Like, Santa won't visit you if you're naughty. kind of stuff. So we get a flashback here of Colin being like showing off a toy he got from another boy, and Ripley's like, "Yo, you shouldn't pick on the weak kids. That's just wrong." And yeah, I mean, this kind of stuff's really heartbreaking. But I do like this theme about what strength is for. That's being subtly reinforced here. Also, this robot is friggin' Emeth, which is crazy. It kind of looks like Emeth. It's got the horns, so it's kind of like it kind of looks like Onigashima or something as well, like oars, an ancient giant maybe. But yeah, he shows off the What's interesting is that modern giants have the horns on their helmets, like the Vikings. I wonder if that's to emulate the ancient giants. There could be a theory in that. Because most normal giants don't have these horns. But for Loki it's genuine, it's not baked into the hat. Oops, I am not talking. God, I've been talking so much, but I think I muted myself. Oh, hey, Carl. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so what was I saying? I think it's super interesting that okay, so the toy looks like Emeth, which is pretty crazy. Um, it kind of looks like Onigashima as well. But the horns also, you think ancient giants, and something I never really thought about is why do regular giants wear horns on their head if they like they don't have horns naturally. Like Loki, he's all natural. But all these kids, they have horns on their hats, but like most of them aren't ancient giants. Maybe this one is, although he's pretty small. So it makes me think that like maybe there's some kind of symbolism why they wear the horned hats, like other than just to look Viking. Because like the straw hat, which I'm wearing now, is a symbol of Joy Boy or Nika because like it's like obviously if you look at the straw hat from above, it'll look like the sun. So sun god stuff. So maybe like the people of Elbaf started wearing horn hats to like as a tribute to a specific ancient giant. My opinion is that the person who held Loki's fruit prior to Loki would be Thor. I'm not sure though. Like because like Luffy says, the fact that Luffy and Loki both have Thor moves next chapter, to me that's pretty telling. And the Nighthawk has lightning powers. So I think it would make sense. You think Elbaf is an actual person? Like you think Elbaf the country is named after a place called Elbaf? I mean, sorry, Elbaf the country is named after a person? I think Thor is definitely an ancient equivalent to Nika. I think Thor was a person that existed. Mention that Elbaf is a place? No, not as far as I know. I've never heard that before. I'm gonna get some water real quick. BRB. Okay, I'm back with water. Stay hydrated, kids. Stay hydrated. Yeah, I'm not aware of any theory that says Elbaf is a person. Anyway, yeah, so I think it's possible that these horns represent greater things, especially the ones that are curved. Sorry, I had one technical hiccup there, but we're good. So we'll continue the montage, which is super sad. All the kids get guilt trip visions of times they messed up. So Colin beat up a kid for this Emmet robot, and Ripley pulled his ear for it. In Little Garden, Dorian Broggy mentioned Elbaf, the god of war. Could be a mistranslation, though. Carl, do you have a chapter for that? I'll pull it up if you do. I remember them mentioning a god of war, but I don't remember, or a god of Elbaf. Sorry, but I don't remember them actually mentioning a god called Elbaf. I could be wrong though, which is I always love finding out when I'm wrong because this affects a lot of my theories. I mean, all of this is ultimately to get me back in the Hobbit for content creation. So this kind of theory fuel stuff is really why I do these. So if you've got it, let me know. Okay, well you search it up. I'm gonna continue going through the chapter. Why haven't you cleaned your plate yet? Do you hate my cooking that much? What a passive aggressive mother. Honest to goodness, the like. Let's switch to like the sad face because this is depressing. It's like no, but I hate carrots. um, this one I understand though. How many times have I told you not to take out your father's sword? I mean, if this was like modern America, it'd be his gun, which is even worse. But you know, this is pretty bad already. This one's really hurts. It's I hate you, Grandpa. You stink. You savage. You and your savage pirate crew stink. Which, yeah, I don't know. Like, he seems pretty thuggish himself, but he thinks his grandpa isn't cool because he was a pirate. Oimo and Kashi have only come back to Elbaf recently. So this must have been really, really recent. Like within the last 2 years for him to like, which is probably even for the kids, that's super super like a little amount of time to know them, because like colon here is like 28 or something. Could you imagine how miserable being a parent must have been for Giban? He's like he has to change like a giant like 6-year-old baby's nappies, even older, like a 9-year-old baby, and he's like 50 times your height. Like his poop would probably be bigger than his dad. It's so bad. 119. Okay. Oh no, it's not manga anymore. It's Weeb Central. Oh, it's so smelly. What a terrible name for a site. I mean, no, it's the official app. What am I talking about? I would not endorse a piracy site. What? No, 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 no. This is official. This is Manga Plus. Just ignore the URL. You can't see that. Now, honestly, I do actually have a Viz subscription, but this is more convenient for me. because I've got a No, I've got a Shonen Jump subscription, but I'm only logged into the app on my phone. Yeah, I wouldn't like to think about it either, girl. It just came up in my head. Where did this happen? What a long chapter, jeez. Were chapters always this long? What was happening in the chapter when they mentioned the god? Page 6. Like nectar for the gods. Okay, no, it's probably not that. Oh. This is the judgment of Elbaf, the god of war. This feels very off. This feels like friggin' Gum Tree shenanigans. Let's see what Stephen Poole said. I can bring up the Japanese as well, but like, if there's a conflict there, then I already like, without having to do any work, I can just say Viz got it wrong. Okay, let's bring up Stephen's translation. No, that's my translation. Chapter 1. Okay, it should be this link. But what volume would this be? 116, so we're like talking volume 14? I'm at volume 30. I'm so bad. I am so bad. Oh wait, it was 119. It was volume. I am so bad. Okay, sneaky. There we go. I don't remember this being said at all, to be honest. This is the judgment of the warrior god Elbaf. What? This guy called it Arbaf? Okay, I never want anyone to make fun of me for using Arabasta again. Stephen Poole translated it as Arbaf. Urbaf. Urbaf! How far he's come. He's changed it from Arbaf to Elbaf with a PH. Although I guess Viz had already done that for him. I wonder if he, like, restarted from scratch, which terms he would pick. You found more panels that mentioned Elbaf as a god? Yo, how did I not know this? I feel like my One Piece knowledge is usually really good. Then yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe the god of war is called Elbaf. Although I feel like Thor needs to be someone. Because they both reference Thor. Oh, Par! Yo, thanks for checking in. That's awesome. And thanks for the sub. That means so much to me. My favorite One Piece character, it is Jinbei. Outside of Luffy. It's Luffy then Jinbei. I am a Jinbei stan. We call him Jin Boy in these parts. Anything... Now, I'm not bitter that Zoro and Sanji get most of the love, but... I just like Jinbei. What can I say? When the other Straw Hats, you know, like Luffy lifted up the other Straw Hats when they were down, but who does Luffy turn to when he was down? It was Jinbei. So yeah, I really like Jinbei. He's been my favorite for a long time outside of Luffy. Brook would be my third favorite character though. Thanks a lot for the subpar. And Wizzy, thanks for the cool comment. Carl, I have never noticed this Elbaf is a god thing before. Um, Geez, this has been a blind spot for me. I'm gonna have to check all the translations for that. But I can't believe Stephen Poole went with Arbaf back in the Arbaf. Did he do Arbaf for everything? Or is this just okay? He did Arbaf twice. Did he do Elbaf? Oh, okay, so he was consistent. He used Arbaf. Urbaf. God, this based Fishman enjoyer. Yo, Carl, we're gonna get to that. When we get to chapter 1176, we're gonna talk about Fishman racism. You're a Mihawk fan, but Zora fans are on my ass? Oh, God. I have the Zora fans on my ass whenever I, like, make any choice about wording stuff that doesn't imply he's a swordsman. It's crazy. Um, I love Zoro. I love Sanji. I like them all. Debating Mihawk versus Shanks for me seems so nebulous because we haven't seen either of them really throw down. So, but it's amazing how much animosity has built up between online communities and like just over it. It like rivalries in manga is a powerful tool. Like you always wonder why we've always got to have a Sasuke in a show. It's because of this. It divides fandoms. It causes debates. It causes intrigue. And like what's really genius about how Oda did it is like Luffy has no rival, so he can have the like lol protagonist wins kind of thing, but he can also have the like he can also have like this like eternal debate between two characters. I think it's pretty interesting. Eru bafu bafu eru bafu. Yeah, you know what? Actually, listening to the way they sing that, maybe Steven had a like point. Someone brought it up before. Yeah, okay. I guess I did because Par. What we were talking about was whether or not we were talking about the toy he was holding, right? How it looked like Emeth, but also kind of like an ancient giant, like Oars or something. And I was wondering why the giants all wear horned hats, you know? Because hats are kind of like a big thing in the series. Like the straw hat is a symbol for Joy Boy, because it's obviously the sun, right? If you look at it from above, it looks like the sun. So sun god, blah blah blah. So it makes me wonder if the hats all the Elbaf people wear is like a nod of the hat to the god of war. Like if he was a horned giant as well. Um, because even the ones like who don't have horns, most of the warriors anyway, wear horns. Even like this lady here, she's wearing a cap, but she's got horns on. This woman, she's wearing an accessory. She's wearing like a headband to put her horns on. You know, at least that's what it looks like with the thick lines. Ripley doesn't wear horns. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, like, and a lot of the horns are these curved ones, you know. But like the ancient giants are reviled in the present, so it makes me wonder if it's like one of those forgotten symbols. So that got us to talking about whether or not the god of war was called Thor because of what happens in the attack next chapter. The Nighthawk is obviously a lightning creature, and Thor was the god of thunder in real life. So maybe the god of war in One Piece will be Thor, and that's why Luffy and Loki are making Thor attack references. But as Carl pointed out, friggin' we've got a god called Elbaf, who I didn't consider before, who the whole country is named after, which is wild. And I'm gonna have to look into the Japanese on that later. Um, which arc am I on? This is Elbaf. Sorry, we popped back to Little Garden for some research. This is chapter 1174. We're going to be doing all three chapters today, because I'm going on vacation. So we're going to do 74 to present. I have read these before, but I haven't gone over them and really gotten my thoughts out there and discussed it. So consider this a discussion slash reaction stream. We're just going to compile our ideas for maybe future videos or discussion points. And just to chill and have fun and reflect on stuff. There's some stuff I can have insight on, because I know a lot about the translation process. But for the most part, this is just me reacting and having fun and speculating theory-wise. Hey, Shadow. Well, there's a lot of people today. Thanks for checking in. Okay, I think I caught up on the comments, so we're good. We'll keep going. You guys don't need to worry about spoiling me in the comments here. That's perfectly kosher. Just, behave like normal humans. But yeah, thanks for popping in. In the Elbaf arc for the anime, what do you think about the pacing? So I have some history with One Piece pacing. I spent 10 years on a certain project to try and help improve the pacing. These days, I think the anime does a pretty decent job, though. I really love the direction it does. The animation pops up way more frequently. Pops off, sorry, I should say. I think with them going seasonal and covering one chapter an episode, and these are packed chapters, a lot happens in them, and it's at least one chapter an episode. Maybe they'll go a page or two over. Because I think 2-chapter pacing for a 20-minute anime when Oda packs this many scenes into it. Like, in previous eras, like early East Blue and stuff, you could get away with 3 or 4-chapter content episodes. But here, if you go to 2 chapters, it's very hard. Like, if you've seen the Fishman Island remasters, those are terrible. And they try and edit 2 chapters into an episode, and they omit half the manga. So I think 1.5 chapters would be the sweet spot, but I'm willing to take less if we adapt everything. So if the direction is consistently good and the production has time to have even more Sakuga moments, I don't see the need for to worry about the pacing as much going forwards. Because I thought parts of Wano and Egghead were already really good. In fact, like, watching an edited version of Egghead was too fast for my brother, so we had to switch to the regular anime just because there was, like, sensory overload, you know? I think it's a person-by-person thing. As long as the pacing is decent. You see, here's the thing about pacing. When it comes to... Like, you can never fix an adaptation that cuts out things, right? So, like, Death Note's second half is just forever neutered. Like, you'll never be able to get the Near and Mellow arc up to how good it is in the manga. Because half of it's ripped out, right? With the One Piece anime, at least most of the scenes exist. I know of some cut panels, but like it's the much less egregious of the sins. And going seasonal, I think, will be a good sign. And we've got Wit Piece around the corner, so I'm feeling mostly positive about the anime these days. Dressrosa is death. Dressrosa was death. Dressrosa made so many people quit. Dressrosa Weekly, even in the manga, is miserable. I remember when Dressrosa started, I was in high school, and when it finished, I was starting university. I remember skipping out gym class for like half an hour to read the Dressrosa chapters as they dropped. On this channel, I actually did a review for chapter 701, which got deleted due to copyright strikes, and that like crushed 16-year-old me's spirits. 17-year-old me? I don't know how old I was. So I just stopped. Has it been that long since Dressrosa? Oh my god. But it just crushed my spirits, so like I stopped uploading videos. Wit Piece is around the corner when we haven't heard any news for 2 years. It takes a while, okay? It takes a while. I think the only concern I have about Wit Piece is I want them to keep some of the iconic music. Like, is it One Piece if they don't have an instrumentation of We Are or Overtaken. I don't know. Fishman Island remaster was embarrassed, mugged by Pace. Yeah, I know. But even like One Piece, like I wasn't on the team at that time. I'm not on the team anymore. 10 years was enough. But One Piece's Fishman Island arc is currently in a terrible state. I've heard that there's plans to remaster that, so hopefully, but like I mean, for me, if I were to like pinpoint a period where the anime needed pacing improvements, it would be from Thriller Bark to Zoe, I think. Because I actually like Whole Cake Island's anime quite a lot. Reverie is friggin' atrocious. I actually worked, I was the editor on Reverie for Pace. That was friggin' that went from like 12 episodes to 3. Yeah, you can bring in other anime. Just don't spoil anything, but you can talk about like, man, the Frieza arc was so long, especially near the end. You can say stuff like that. But don't spoil like, oh, Jujutsu Kaisen, blah 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 blah, you know? Because I might react, like, I've never read Jujutsu Kaisen, I might react to that at some point. I've never read but what's that new show? I forgot its name. Kagu Kagurabachi? Yeah, I've heard good things about this as well. Is this worth reading? Let me know if this is worth reading. I've been married to One Piece for so long. My eyes are starting to drift, but you know, I'll always have one central focus. But I do wanna expand my horizons a bit. Yeah, yeah, that happens to me all the time. If you ever hear a voice which you know from another anime, just go to behind the voice actor. So if I go to behind the voice actor and I look up Luffy, um, and let's assume we're talking about Tanaka here, the Japanese voice for Luffy, we can see everyone she's ever voiced in everything. So we can see she's Kuririn, we can see she's Koenma, we can see she's whoever, you know? So like if you've got any like, oh god, I know that voice, but I don't know who it is, this website's a treasure trove. If Zoro was the main character. Honestly, there's an appeal for Zoro being in the main character. A lot of characters say that when you meet Zoro, they're like, "Oh man, um, like this guy, he's so in charge. It's crazy. Like, you know, how is he not the captain?" Zoro and Vegeta have the same voice actor in English. Yeah, Chris Sabat. He's really good. He's also Piccolo. He's Yami from friggin' Black Clover. His voice, he never changes his voice. It's always the same. He's that one guy in Steins Gate, the guy in the who owns the TV store. The Japanese voice actor for Zoro voices a guy in Kuroko Basketball, and like Kuroko's Basketball is all about a bunch of like high school kids playing in their like basketball club, but they like treat it like it's the most life or death situation ever, and they all have like anime power ups and stuff. But at the end of the day, they're all like, you know, 14, 15-year-old boys, so their voices aren't that deep. And then one random guy they play is just Zoro. Like, it's literally Zoro's voice, and he doesn't change it. It's like, Luffy, pass me the ball. Like, it's so funny. By the way, if you guys are interested in Zoro stuff, on my channel there is an adaptation of the short story from it's over here, the short story from One Piece fan letter. I think a lot of people would enjoy it if they gave it a shot because it's being completely animated, and we got a really really cool voice actor to play Zoro.
Hmm.
Well, let me see if I can get a clip of his voice.
Besides, I'm not sure those two are the
This
only
is Chestnut
characters.
Tanuki, by the
Fair
way.
enough. Guess we
Well
learn.
known One Piece YouTuber, and this is Randy
Pretty sure.
Troy, another One Piece YouTuber.
Hey, that's an interesting conversation you're having.
He sounds just like Chris Sabat, right? Am I not? Am I joking? Like he sounds like Sabat. This was Prince Vegeta, who's well known in the Dragon Ball community. But yeah, I want to give these three shout outs and love because they put a lot of time into this. So like anytime I can promote it, if it's remotely Zara related, I want to. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. Also, this fourth guy is my brother-in-law, so screw him. No, 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 you're good. Thanks, Busy, for checking, but you're good. This is more of a discussion stream rather than a first reaction streams. That's how I like to conduct it, so I've got more organized thoughts. Although I've been going on a lot of tangents, so we should probably get back to it. I missed the last three chapters, so that's why we're doing three at once. Kinpachi and Akai Inu have the same voice actor. I didn't know that. That's really cool. Have you ever read a seinen? I'm currently reading Vagabond, Aisha. My friend Mip put me up to it. I'm on like the third arc of it, I think. It's pretty cool. Like I'm almost at. I think I'm at chapter like almost at chapter 100 or something. I don't know. Maybe 90. I don't know, but it's a really cool series. It started out a bit slow for me, but I'm getting into it more. Other than that, I've read Monster and I've read most of Berserk, but I dropped it. The Berserk will have to be another rant for me, but rest in peace, Miura. I think I'll always love the Golden Age arc, but I kind of struggled with some of the middle parts of Berserk, especially when he was going on hiatus more often. But his artwork is always amazing. No, I've not. Camphor? I've not even heard of that. Sorry. Okay, let's continue. So we were at the point where all of the kids were having guilt trips, and this one's really interesting. Here, we've got the lady being like, "Why are you lying again? I can't protect you if you lie to me." Which sounds really serious, right? Like, what is she lying about? And what's she protecting her from? Like, how can I help you if you're lying to me? Like, what did this kid lie about? Like, did she pickpocket something? Is she on drugs? Like, I have no idea what she's like. Did someone hurt her? Is someone bullying her? That's probably it. Someone's bullying her at school. Maybe it's Colin. Maybe Colin stole the stole the toy from her, and she's too shy to say anything. This boy's the worst. He's like, "Why did I bring my homework? Why did you bring my homework? I forgot on purpose." Which is like, oh, look at her face. She's like, by the way, she's got the friggin' Urashima haircut. Oh. Yeah, she's got this going on. um, she's like, what? Oh, I thought that you forgot your homework, son. But yeah, he forgot on purpose. God damn, I hate when I press the P button. I get out the PSP, which I can also get out a controller somehow. But I guess I'll do that if I ever do a video game stream. Kenpachi is your favorite Bleach character. Yeah, I haven't read Bleach since the Soul Society arc. So if there's anything after that worth reading, I hear good things about the Thousand Year Blood Wars anime. Is that true, or is it actually like? Because I heard the manga sucked, but that the anime redeemed it. So let me know if that's true. Okay, so Colon is like crying, I don't want to die, mommy, forgive me, I'll be good, blah blah blah. And she appears in front of him and hugs him. Um, she says, I can't stop you, but at the very least, you won't have to die alone. Which is really heartbreaking. And they continue to march off the edge because of the arrow. And all the other parents do that, and we got the everyone crying for their mothers and grandpa, Oimo, and this scumbag right here. Ronya is Ronya or Ronja? I think it's Ronya. Is like to the very end is like, oh, it'll be fine, it'll be saved. Like she's in such denial. Um, and yeah, she gets picked up at the very end and by her father, who says that she did really well. Which she was the one who was talk. They put her on the mic, right? Bent or Bento. I kind of preferred Bento, but I went with what Viz did. Um, Bent. Um, what scares me most? My mommy. I'm sorry I said you were scary. This. I freaking love this one moment. I don't mind being scary. Your fierce mommy lives to protect you. And that's it's so sweet. This whole arc, because like when the like mommy dream demon appeared, we were all like, oh, it's Big Mom, but no, it was an actual mother, and it's like, it's so cool. It must be nice having parents like these. And so Anj here, so Anj is actually gonna say like, don't worry, I'm here to be like your foster mother. Like, no, she doesn't actually use that word, but she's like, I can be like a mother to you, basically. Like, I can look after you like a mother. In Japanese. So this might actually need some updating. And she's like, Tisk, you're not my mom. And then Anj jumps down, is like, Johanna! And like grabs her, and he's got Miss Anj. And they fall down together, and that's really sweet. And she was already like walking off the edge when this happened, so like she did this just so she wouldn't have to die alone. You should see his Bankai from Kenpachi, the best Bankai in Bleach. I actually was under the impression, okay, I didn't actually know he could Bankai. I always thought that he just had a normal sword. Could he Bankai in the Soul Society arc, or am I just bad at memories? Summers is the best villain in a while. Best, yes, in terms of hateability. He's got the hateability of Orochi and Spandam, but he's actually a fighter. But I do want some stoic badasses in the God's Knights as well, not just sadistic people. I like a good mix of villains. Villains who are doing it for the sadism, villains who are doing it because they're misguided, villains who are loyal to the wrong people, villains who don't understand the consequences of what they're doing. It's good to have someone like Summers who you can feel unapologetically happy about being crushed. But I think it's also interesting to have other elements in the faction. People who are motivated by greed and other things. His Bankai is the little girl. Oh, is it? I thought that was his command. I need to I probably do need to recheck out Bleach. I did a whole reread of Naruto like 2 years ago, and I ended up enjoying that a lot more. Fun fact: One Piece was actually my last series I got into of the big three. Because I saw One Piece first, I think, on 4Kids, and I heard the pirate rap, and that was an earworm. But I thought the show was lame as anything, and the art style was weird, so I didn't watch it. And the first one I saw was Naruto. After Dragon Ball, of course. And then my sister's friend recommended Bleach, and I thought that was sick. And I got as far as both shows were dubbed at the time, and I ran out of content, so I went on to the next of the big three, One Piece. And I watched One Piece up until A Piece, and then I dropped it because I was so ready for them to get into the Grand Line, and then they add another filler arc right before it. What were they thinking? So I dropped One Piece for a year, and then I picked it back up, and I wasn't enjoying it that much until we get to Whiskey Peak, and we get the scene where Zoro like takes down all of the bounty hunters, and I just thought that was so cool. And then the reveal of Vivi and Robin, and that hooked me. And I watched all of Arabasta, and I got to Skypiea. And at the time, the first few episodes of Skypiea take a while to get going, and I was a bit unsettled by the religious themes of it. Sorry, someone messaged me real quick. I had to take the text. Um, yeah. So Skypiea, the like the themes of Skypiea kind of disturbed me as a child because of all the like godly stuff and heavenly stuff. And I was brought up quite religious, so like I kind of didn't want to experience that arc, so I wanted to skip past it. But there was no dub after that, and there hadn't been for years. So I waited a long time, and eventually I gave up and I switched to Japanese, and I've never looked back. And I was caught up with Fishman Island in about a month, which is crazy. And I eventually went back to watch Skypiea, and it's my favorite arc now, so don't worry. But yeah, I'm unironically a Skypiea skipper, you know, which is hilarious because it ends up being my favorite. By the way, can anyone tell me if my voice is coming across clear? Because I've got a bit of a sore throat, so I'm worried that my voice might not be loud enough. I can amp it up if I need to, but yeah, let me know. Anyway, we've got the last one, which is Bjorn being caught by his otaku brother. Uh, which Rodo's such a boss. I love this arc for him. I do kind of wish that Bjorn and Rodo's relationship was set up earlier. I wish that like when Luffy and Co were trapped in the model world, we could hear him like complaining about how his brother snuck in and played with the models again, you know? And like how he's such a pain or something. Or like, you know, something like that. Or like I don't know, just something set up he has a brother who he's got a bit of a distance from. Although the distance is from Bjorn's side, not from his side. But it would be cool to have like a mention of Bjorn before all of this kidnapping stuff, just to have this payoff be cooler. But ultimately, I really like this stuff. Anyone who has older siblings, what I like is that Oda pays tribute to all these kinds of relationships here. Parental, grandparental, foster parents slash step parents, and siblings. So he covers the whole gambit of like human relationships here for children, which is pretty cool. Anyway, you sound clear to you? Okay, cool. That's good. If I was going to eat a devil fruit, are you taking? Okay, which are you taking for all the viewers and you? Like everyone gets it. So like if I eat the fruit, everyone in the world gets it. Um, damn, it'll probably be something like Strussen's like food fruit, right? Where like he can cut anything and make it into food. That would solve world hunger and a lot of like resource issues. If it was just me, and it was like for the sake of profiting or something, it's tempting to say the invisibility fruit because then you can like sneak into a bank or something, but that's also very unethical, and you can use it for Sanji related reasons and like sneak into bathrooms and stuff. Maybe just being a shapeshifter would be good, because although you would like, there's probably no good way of using that without like, you know, like I'll shapeshift into a billionaire, withdraw his money, and like donate it to charity. I don't know. Like, you could probably get rich off of a lot of devil fruits, but is that the one you want? If it's for everyone, I think the food fruit is good for the one from Big Mom's Crew, Strusen. If it's one for just me, I would probably pick something more fun. Maybe Robin's fruit, so I can like pass stuff to myself. Yeah, I think one of those. Lowe's fruit would be a medical miracle too, and you could teleport with it. Like save a lot of time. I don't know. Sugar's fruit. You're going on your villain arc. You know that's actually pretty cool because you stop aging. That's a good fruit to have as well. Although I probably wouldn't eat it as a child, I'd probably eat it as I am now. Yeah, look at them, those worthless scraps are tumbling into the abyss. My heart is quivering. What a touching story. If you just let them fall, you'd only be down 10 brats. Those parents are so stupid. Their love is making them choose to die with their kids. I have butterflies in my stomach. What a beautiful, meaningless death. This guy. That dialogue was fun to do, but this guy, man. Colon, where are we? I don't know, Mom, but we're all safe. And so he lands on the belly of a rice cracker. Of a rice cracker man. Yeah, here we go. I assume in the because his belly is all white now because he's in Gear 5. That's why Luffy picked this specifically. But I called that my gum gum rice cracker belly. You're kind of digging into me though, so get off. It's pretty dang funny. What I am wondering is we don't get to hear Luffy cry out the name. It's not like booming Dawn Rice Cracker Belly, which would probably make it way too long. Um, yeah, I guess so. Not every Gear 5 move has to be booming Dawn, huh? Um, what was I gonna say? There was something about Luffy here. Oh yeah, what he's riding, a giant dragon. Sengoku's devil fruit is pretty good to me. You want to be a giant Buddha man? I wonder if he goes like full. Have we ever seen him go full Buddha? Like, is the giant mode full Buddha, or is that the like hybrid form? I guess we don't know. I was just wondering. Imagine if his full form is just a Buddha statue and he can't move. So yeah, they all land on Luffy, and we hear a voice. Hey, you! As soon as we land, I want you to hop off my back. You hear? I don't want you meddling in my fight. You guys just came falling out of nowhere. Good thing we were passing by. I didn't sign up for this. I'm the Great Destroyer. I'm not responsible for anybody's safety. Now, let's move. It's like friggin' Sonic and Shadow. It's snowing? That's sudden. Was that thunder? And then we get this friggin' like crazy shot where like it looks like the castle's bending over and all the trees are like moving. The trees are shifting. What is that beat? The Japanese always says rhythm here. I think beat makes more sense because it's the dun 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 for Nika's heartbeat. Um, God, I freaking love the anime version of the like dun 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 dun, dun. Like it transitions into Overtaken. I freaking love that stuff, man. Because it makes like all of One Piece up to like the friggin' heartbeat reveal to feel like it's building up to that. Like all of the dons, all of the Overtaken, like every time Overtaken is played. But yeah, so now friggin' Ja Rule goes into Shenmue mode and starts saying this random prophecy. where he's like, on a curious day, when thunder and snow both flurry, a giant beast shall appear to blot out the skies. The drums of liberation will boom out. What? And the sun god will arise. And we've got Luffy and Ratisker? I am not good at the Scandinavian names, I'm not gonna lie. Look how big you got. Now this is gonna be funny. What's funny is the Japanese always tries to approximate the Scandinavian names and are always slightly off. So trying to find out which one is which is always a bit of a challenge. Um yeah, this stuff is friggin' immense. This is so huge. This is so cool. Um the fact that it's like running over all the dream demons. It's huge. The design is more of a Western style dragon. This is a Nighthawk, as we'll learn next chapter. Loki's ginormous tongue is still sticking out of his mouth, which is crazy. His eyes are still creepy as all hell. But also his eyes, like, yeah, okay. His eyes are more detailed when they're zoomed out. Um, Forget Luffy's typical Gear 5 pose. I kind of wish that we got new ones. Um, this is ginormous. Like, the scale of this is huge. It's kind of a bit messy to tell what's going on, but I just like it for the impact, because it's just about, like, the reveal of, like, this giant FU dragon, you know? I think the anime might improve, like, our sense of perspective a bit, because it does kind of look like Luffy and the squirrel are just kind of superimposed there and aren't actually riding him. But I just think this is really cool. What I don't think is one of my friends on Discord, right? Do you know what he said about this image when it released? I'll let you guess. He said this. Berserk level art, by the way. Can you see that? I'll yeah, Berserk level art, by the way. Which, bless him, it's awesome and it's hype. But come on, dog. Come on. Okay. Minor spoilers for Berserk here. I'm just gonna show one panel from Berserk with no story context. A very similar panel of a dragon being shown off. Come on. I am the biggest One Piece stan in the world, okay? I think Oda's art is awesome. I think the over-the-top designs are so cool. But come on! This dragon's awesome, but let's not, like, we don't need to compare the manga. They're trying to do different things. Berserk's, like, level art, it, like, implies a realism, you know? Anyway, I love this chapter. Anyone got any opinions on that chapter, like out of 10? We'll determine which chapter is the best of the three that we're covering today. Ratotoisker. Ratotoisker? Yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. Think Rattata the Pokemon. Which would win, Sanji or Jinbei? Jinbei would... No. Sanji would win, but I prefer Jinbei as a character. Sanji will just win because, like, he wouldn't have won up until Wano. By now, if he's used to his new enhancements, then it will be Sanji for sure. Loki Needhog reveal is at least at 9. Okay, I agree. I think for me the strength of that chapter was actually the parent stuff, even though their guilt tripping is a bit bleh. I think the fact that, you know, we had all of that emotional feel stuff, I think it's a good payoff for the arc. So I'm gonna say it's a I'll agree with you. I'll go on 9 for that. Let's keep the scores in mind and we can compare at the end. Let me know if anyone else has scores for that. Anyway, we've got Sabo and his koala harem here. Fun fact for all of you: a young koala is called a Joey, which is something I learned while doing this chapter. Um, Nighthog's kanji is Thunder Dragon, which is cool. Um, man, it's freaking so funny to see koala with a koala. Okay, I don't have too much to say. Well, okay, this Oda note was funny. It was the wooden spoon for the McDonald's salad one. Oda is so quirky with these things. Like they're relatable, they're playful. Some of them are like promotional crap. Like half of them are worthless, and then half of them are just ridiculous lore drops about his life that like I could read for hours. I really wish we had access to all of them in Japanese. In high quality so I could like cross reference some of them, but super cool stuff. It was actually TCB didn't always have the notes here. This is actually kind of a scam to include the credits because a lot of people skip the credits. Which obviously you don't need to read the credits because who cares? But like people doing it for free, so like make it more appealing to actually get the credits page in there. And otherwise, where else would you put it? So I think it's cool. I'm glad it's added here. Um, Oda eats a whole lot of fast food. Yes, and he does a whole lot of promotion for random musicians. Um, and comics who like comedy shows he watches and stuff. I like where Zara and King fight in the anime and manga. What do you mean by that, Wiz? Okay, so we start off with the leg igniting. The captured straw hats are free. Robin, thank goodness. That's our Sanji. So those vines have a weakness to high temperatures. Much obliged. So it seems the vines are just an elemental thing, at least when Summers is not there actively controlling them. No one tried fire, it wasn't required for hockey. It doesn't bother me too much, but interesting note about here in the Japanese is that when he says high temperatures, you could kind of also mean like hot passion. But passion, like, was the thing which Summers said, if you try to grab them with it, it will stab you even harder because you reach out faster. So I've kind of got mixed signals there, but like, I get it. I think what Oda's trying to say is that these vines like ensnare passion and like they're like a spider's web for passion, but passion is also what breaks it. But specifically like this hot temperature which Sanji can exude. Fire beats Ivy. Yeah, I think I could be reading too much into it, and it's just Pokemon rules, right? So Jinbei would just, his water bending will just, enhance the vines. Yeah, there's apparently some wordplay on Redfoot Zeph as well. One of my friends pointed out to me where, like, it could also be, like, Red Hot Zeph. Like, so, like, his, like, leg is burning. But we also do have the explicit reason that it's called Red Leg because of the blood he gets on it. So, the the whole thing about passionate kicking has been a thing for Sanji since the beginning. Um, I'm afraid there's no time to celebrate. Yeah, this hockey and that roar just now. And what is this massive shadow? So they just see this friggin' looming, ginormous thing. Honestly, this friggin' skeleton looks way bigger than Loki, but I guess it's because it's closer. But I kind of think Oda should have omitted this just so we would focus just on this, like just on Loki. Um, West Village, Ripley, Oimo, Roto. This is a cool detail. Roto has a question mark instead of two exclamation marks. So it implies that Ja Rule and the rest are shocked that Rodo was brave enough to join the fray, you know? Which is pretty funny. That's a detail in Japanese, and Viz caught it too, which I'm glad. Our folks need help. They were stabbed by our thorns. Mommy's going to die. And we've got the giants being like, Loki, the village isn't safe. Take the kids somewhere less dangerous. And Loki, being the friggin' edgelord Chad he is like, not my problem. They went and jumped on my back. I'm just dropping them off. Now all of you get off now. And while Loki's like mugging the scenery, which this is a really cool shot actually. I actually like this even more than last chapters because we get a proper sense of the scale of him. No pun intended because he's a dragon. The scale of him. He's still got the furry cloak, which is pretty hilarious. He's got freaking those. I want to say wrist chokers. He's got these armbands. No, wristbands. Still around this thing. He doesn't have his tattoo, which is a big missed opportunity. I wonder if when he transforms back, will he still have his blindfold? Traditionally, like, how does it work with Zoans? Because, like, when you become your hybrid form, your clothes just stretch out and they might rip. But when you become your full transformed form, like, they're never naked when they transform back. Like, when Kaido transforms back, he always has his trousers back. But, like, when Lucci transforms into his semi-form, he rips his shirt. Like, so the lore around how clothes are affected by devil fruits is kind of confusing. But I'm just asking because I'm wondering what happens to his eye bands, what's blocking his eyes when he's normal. But actually it looks like it's wrapped around his top horn. So maybe he actually had Luffy wrap up the bandages around his horn. Did he lose his horn for something? No, he didn't. So like the bandage might just actually be from his eyes, right? Or was his horn bandaged when Chopper was treating him and Gerd? Someone let me know. The Lucci fan service tax? That's awesome. A pitch black dragon with pink fur is gonna go so hard. Yeah, that's actually hilarious. Although it's darkly shaded. I don't know, would that be pink? I need to check what Loki's shading already is. Hey Dex, welcome back. We're having a hell of a stream. A lot of new people today. We had Par drop in, which was an honor. I'm trying to be slightly less ADHD than him, but I think I might be worse in some ways. But to be fair, I'm doing 3 chapters, not 1. So if this is anything under 3 hours, I'm taking this as a win. Hopefully it won't be 3 hours. Hopefully it'll be 2 hours. But yeah, welcome back. We also had Wiz and Carl and if I'm forgetting anyone. Oh, Aisho's here. And Shadow, yeah. All these great people dropping by. So yeah, really cool stream. Back to business. People of Elbaf, the children are safe. And the Straw Hats are like, thank goodness. Not because they care about the Straw Hats, but because now they can put out the fire in the library. And yeah, all the warriors are celebrating that they don't need to worry about hostages anymore. And while Loki is mugging the camera with this really cool pose, Luffy is like, oh hey, Zoro! And they have a casual conversation, like waving. It's so funny. You guys took your sweet time. Don't tell me that Dragons is. Yep, it's Loki. This place should be safe with you here. Yeah, that's no problem. Since you're already giant mode, can you guys take care of those dream monsters? Elbaf won't last long if we leave them be. On it. And so Luffy, and Loki are apparently off to thingy. But then we've got the thorns raining down, and they're like, "Oh, what? This came out of nowhere. Get the kids inside. The thorns are dropping." That creep's still after us, and this scumbag, man, he's like, he's let down. He's been edged up to this point where he's like, oh, it's so amazing. We're gonna, we're this amazing emotional death, and he feels cheated. So this scumbag has come down to like finish the job himself, and he's like, you ruined my touching moment. Like when Sanji kicked the hell out of the Holy Knight when he disrespected Jinbei as a fisherman. Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a second. Although I think that's next chapter. Um, and so he kind of backpedals a bit. He's like, actually, I think it might be for the best since the brats were saved. I still technically haven't failed the mission yet. I can still take them to Holy Land as planned. But first, I'm gonna finish off their dying parents. Taste my thorn launcher, and he's got like a triple threat barrel launcher. Um, I don't know how these guns work into the thorn theming and where the eyes come from, but whatever. The logic of some of these fruits escaped me, Oda. Um, but the kids, I think the kids can actually move now. By the way, because they're no longer the arrow would have stopped at where the boat was, so now they can move. So and in this panel, it seems like they're behind the adults, but on this panel, they seem to be in front of them. So I think Colon and stuff actually run in front of the adults here. They can't get rid of the thorns, but that doesn't encumber their legs because they could walk with the thorns earlier. Crown of Thorns is pretty interesting. God, I'm being all literature now. The Crown of Thorns, which all of them have, is pretty interesting because Jesus has a crown of thorns when he sacrifices himself. Um, I wonder if that's intentional, if that's why thorns were chosen with this self-sacrificial theme. I know Oda likes his religious symbolism, but Christianity symbology, especially stuff like this, is pretty obscure in Japan. They usually just put in crucifixes and stuff for aesthetic reasons. But if Oda thought to put the crown on their heads intentionally for this self-sacrificial moment, that's really really cool of him. Um. Anyway, this time I'm gonna save Mom and the rest. Me too. Me three. I'm gonna cry. You morons are priceless. At this point, screw it. I don't even care about the mission anymore. I'm just grateful I get to kill you guys myself. Now who's going first? This guy, man. I thought he was bad when he was trying to friggin' assault Shaki and kill him before Rayleigh got there. This is even worse. Like he does, his orders are to bring the kids, but he's so sadistic and enjoys this scenario so much. He's willing to screw the orders, you know? It's kind of, you know what? Maybe I'm onto something with this Jesus imagery because not only is there a crown of thorns, I don't know if I can show this on the stream. Show this on to like zoom in. Yeah, okay, I can zoom in. Not only is there a crown of thorns, but there's also a cross. See? On his chin. Is that not a crucifix? That's a crucifix, right? So maybe I'm not crazy. Maybe Oda was implying this sacrificial imagery after all. Um anyway, I mean it would be kind of off theme for Elbaf to be super Christiany, but then again, all of the Norse themes have been Christianized. All of the Norse gods were Christianized. That's how we have their surviving tales. Because the locals were able to fold it into Christian mythology and just claim that Loki and stuff were devils and demons, and they still like fall in line with the Christian god. So a lot of our surviving Norse text is actually all Christianized. Scholars have tried to reverse engineer what it would be without the Christian stuff. This is TCB's official site, tcb1piecechapters.com. I can put it in chat if you want. I've also got manga C open if I ever need to check Viz or a previous chapter. Did that link work? Colon. Oh wow! If this is a new chapter as well, welcome to the stream, Xerox. Colon, please run. I'm gonna protect you, mommy. And we get this. And who is it but Zoro? Deflecting all of them like he did with Batman and Wano and stuff. Way to go, Zoro! I knew you had this in the bag. Yeah. Yeah, now go. And Summers is like, what? Who did that? And Luffy jumps up, catches lightning that's probably coming from Loki, which is a sick combo, by the way. This is like your team combo in like a friggin' Marvel vs. like Capcom game or something. So he grabs the lightning and he's like, Zoro, he's a member of my crew, and don't you forget it. This kind of like, this is Zoro, that's his name, don't forget him moment is kind of funny because Summers was screwed over by the previous first mate of the King of the Pirates. But it also parallels what friggin' Sanji will say next chapter when he's like, this is a member of my crew, don't forget, like, we've got like 2 announcement moments back to back for Zoro and Jinbei, which is kind of cool. But yeah, Luffy like grabs the lightning and he also spins his arm at the same time. Because he's going for Gum Gum Rifle, which is pretty cool. He also does the big like stretched out forearm thing when he's aiming. And he's doing the friggin' brain point beep 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 beep, which is hilarious. Oda could have omitted these 2 panels and no one would care about him. So he hits him with Rifle, which Rifle has taken out another god before, God Usopp, in Water 7, but also it took out the god Enel, the false god Enel at Skypiea. So, and that was also with lightning because Enel was the lightning. So interesting that the rifle and the lightning pair up, and also rifle being used to take down gods. Because all the celestial dragons are gods, obviously, in their lore. But yeah, this is pretty cool. We've got Booming Dorn Thor Rifle. In Japanese, it's just Dawn for Rifle. But like, the way TCB does booming is because Dawn, like Dawn, it also sounds like the dawn from his heartbeat, the booming sound. And I think the Dawn's written with the kanji for white. So like Luffy is like which is Shiro. So Luffy is like, oh, I'm white. I'm all white now, and I like my heart is beating so loud. It's a dawn, yeah, ooh. And I like obviously he's accidentally fulfilling this like the dawn is coming prophecy kind of stuff. But it's kind of super hard to convey in English, so I think Booming Dawn's okay. I TCB chose to letter it all in white, which is pretty cool. Because they letter Loki's move later all in black, which is not a flourish in the original Japanese. So I don't mind that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Lettering is fun with comics. I used to like. I think the important thing with lettering in comics is just making sure that you pick fonts people can read and the text is big enough. With fan subs, you've got the issue for talking speed. But in manga, you don't have a talking speed problem, but you've got a space problem. And something which Oda has actually spoken about and is really good about is he picks these really wide bubbles. If you read a Korean manhwa or if you read other like less international jump properties, they don't make bubbles this wide. They make it long, so it's more in line with Japanese conventions. And that makes it much harder to localize. But Oda, from the very beginning, wanted the series to be internationally accessible. So he actually has been on the record once talking about how he makes his bubbles fatter. Which is cool, and I don't know why I'm talking about this, because boom, we get this amazing shot where Summers gets his teeth knocked out. and he gets thundered, and Oimo is like, the Straw Hats! And the all the vines came off when Summers was beat up, so, oh, it came off. Mom, that's... And we see Ripley looking up with her loss of her energy, being like, I finally got to see it, Luffy-kun's white form. He really does look just like Nika. I believe he's the one, the warrior of liberation. And then we've got Summers being like, did you say Nika? Poof! That's just a tale to tell scared kids. And then Loki, like, his claw descends on him and crush. And oh my god. If that's the end of him and he's actually dead, which he isn't, that would be so brutal. But I love how, like, they're like, well, time to go. Like, this is such an afterthought, crushing him as a jobber. It's cool aura for Loki and Luffy, but it does make me a bit concerned that we're cheaping out all of the God Knights. I'm worried that the all of the God Knights will end up being a joke, which I wouldn't want. The Summer's Punch panel is actually insane. What if Luffy did that to a normal person? Good God. Yeah, maybe it's actually something that he tanked it and is still able to talk crap after. Maybe I'm putting Summers down too much. And Chopper's like, is that? And then we've got Kashi being like, no, is this Kashi? Who is this? Grandson? That's Loki, alright. This is the first time I've seen him like this too. So you're saying Elbaf's national treasure is it's a forbidden devil fruit. The mythological dragon fruit. Model Nighthawk. So this is Ryu no Mi, which is the exact same as all of Kaido's men. They all had dinosaur fruits. I like to render that traditionally as sorcerer fruit, because the Japanese word for dinosaur actually ends with Ryu at the end, with for dragon, so they kind of share a name. Um, but for this, I think dragon makes sense. So like, I actually don't know what the optimal move is for that, because now we know that they're not all dinosaur fruits. There is a dragon among them. Unless a Nighthawk counts as a dinosaur to you guys, I'm not sure. It is said that whoever eats it can transform into the world's most colossal dragon. The size of the creature is relative to the size of whoever ate the fruit, of course. Think of it this way: a giant would grow larger than a human undergoing the same transformation, and an ancient giant's growth is naturally even greater than that. The combination is what brings out the devil fruit's true potential. So we've got the example of 3 different people at 3 different sizes eating the fruit. It's actually, like, scale-wise, I think Oda's got this a bit off, because the human is just like a pixel, and he grows up to be, like, almost as big as the giant version, who grows up to be around half the size of the ancient giant version. So the ancient giant to the giant version makes sense, but the size of the Nighthawk for the human should be much, much smaller. It should be like at this one's feet. So I actually wonder if there's like a minimum size the Nighthawk can be if you eat it. Anyway, they say the dragon breathes lightning, and when it flies, its jet black body can turn day into night. So the fruit was forbidden and hidden due to, I like the word forbidden hidden, due to its immense powers? Not quite. It's just being protected by the Hammer Guardian, Ragnir. In Elbaf, there is a legend about a god of war who fought with Ragnir. It is said he took the form of a giant dragon and locked horns with the sun god. He was accompanied by a loyal partner, the ice squirrel Ratosker. Um, to make a long story short, after his master died, they say the loyal Ratosker came to possess the weapon Ragnir. So the squirrel is like living in his master's old weapon. How did this happen? Well, presumably the fruit ate a devil fruit, and the fruit is a zone fruit with the will of Ratskar. So they've kind of mythologized this kind of technological process. But maybe his spirit actually just lurks in the hammer. I don't know. It's interesting, but it seems the ice powers come from the hammer, the lightning powers come from the dragon. So Loki has both, and ice and lightning is pretty cool because fire is the last one, and Luffy provides that as the sun god, along with his like gum gum Red Hulk and stuff like that. Anyway, to make a long story short, in One Piece, what is this guy talking about? Um, crazy. Anyway, so he awaits his master's return, or so the legends go. But it seems that Ragnar is no longer acting as a guard for the fruit's power. It's finally made its choice. It chose Loki, and we get this cool panel of the baby, the baby Nighthawk running away from the real one, which is hilarious. And it's Loki roars and charges up his FU. I'm a fire in my laser beam. And Thrudheim. And so that's our second Thor reference. So I still think it's more likely that Thor is the god of thunder, but maybe his name is like Thor Elbaf. Thor D Elbaf. I don't know, it's pretty funny. But Thrudheim is a reference to Thor's realm. It's the same kind of thing as Realm of the Dead, blah 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 blah. Same kanji there. Um, Thor, just like Lofi, through it's where we get Thursday, you know. But yeah, he's basically making a Loki reference to the realm of Thor, basically the home of thunder, because he's doing a thunder move. So I do think it's likely that because Luffy also associates lightning with Thor, that he was the god of war in this world because the god of war was a thunder dragon. But maybe it is John Elbaf. And Emu watches on, and he reacts through Gonko's eyes. So that's it. The Nighthawk. It was here. It was here all along. A quirk of fate. So it seems like Emu's been looking for the Nighthawk for a long time. Which, by the way, like idiot, because like all the way back, right? Like in the time of Nika, it's said to be a giant who had it, right? Presumably. So why would it be anywhere but Elbaf? Maybe Elbaf hadn't been settled as the Giants' homeland back in Nika's time? Or maybe it's not actually said that the God of War was a. It's not actually said that the God of War was a giant here. So maybe he wasn't. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? And what do we rate this chapter? I actually rate this chapter a little less than last. I'll give this one an 8. I think this is an 8. I think it's not as good as last chapter. We'll see if it's better than next chapter though. What do you guys think? It's definitely an interesting one. We've got a One Piece cover to look at next time, which is is an interesting one. This is a promotion for the live action season 2, which is premiering in a few days. Um, Luffy Oda did this really fun thing where he has Luffy's hands drawn more realistically as they shade towards Chopper. So it's a little less jarring that the cartoon is holding the 3D animal. Um, God, this guy looks like Detective Pikachu, you know? I hope because I know Randy and I wish all of these people the best. I hope that this doesn't come off as uncanny to people, and I hope that the budget can allow for Chopper to appear like a normal character. I'm sure that they've got the passion for it. I'm just worried that normies will drop off as One Piece becomes more fantastical on Netflix, and it will never quite capture the feeling of being an anime. So I think maybe they should lean into some of the more dramatic elements in season 2. So I'm looking forward to what they do with Vivi, the Arabasta drama, and especially the hair look stuff. I think the second season will depend a lot on that. Less emotional than last chapter, so probably a 7. That's a good call, Carl. I'll give it a 7. No, I think I still want to give it an 8. Okay, yeah. Oda refuses to ever have the normal One Piece logo, by the way. He has to write it in a different way each time. I can see Wapol being a bridge too far for some people. I'm not too worried about this season or Arabasta. I think when we get to Skypiea, it's going to be a bit far, especially for an American audience. Vulture 7 will be okay-ish, but if they adapt, like, the guy who turns into noodles and stuff, or some of the Cypherpole agents, it might be a bit weird. Thriller Bark onwards, and especially Impel Down, is gonna be really crazy. And I don't know if they'll get that far, but we'll see. I respect the passion. I don't know if it's for me at all times. I think some of the early changes are cool. Like having Kuro's fight be at the mansion is a cooler set piece, and having Buggy enslave the town to be his audience is fun. But I also think that they made some weird choices, like splitting up the Shanks flashback into 2 episodes, and Nojiko and Gensan not knowing about Nami's, secret. It makes it way less emotional that they aren't marching to their death, and Nami's desperation is more like an ambush rather than like. And also Garp's appearance at the end, like they definitely made some missteps in the first season. So, but I know some of these fans. I know they're super passionate, and you know I can't hate anything made from passion, so I wish it well. I wish that they casted an Arab to play the Arabasta characters. Having some Indian rep there is pretty cool. I wouldn't mind some of that, but like, I just feel like we've got one building in Arabasta that's inspired by India, and like a billion inspired by Arabic aesthetics. So like, it kind of feels like the typical Hollywood fu. Indians and Arabs were the same thing. Whatever. Woo. It's kind of it's very Aladdin. It's very Hollywood. And I hope that when they actually get around to adapting Arabasta, that they include, like, because it's meant to be like an Arabian Nights desert oasis kind of thing. Like that's a very popular aesthetic in Japan, and I feel like they obscure a lot of that. I mean, picking the name Alabasta is fine because the LR thing is interchangeable, and Oda himself has flip flopped all his life on that. But yeah, I mean, like that's probably my one hang up at the moment, other than just concerns about how the normal audience will take the live action stuff. But ultimately, I hope it's a success because I know I know it means a lot to Oda for his motivation. He sees this as his one chance to break into the West and be have his art be recognized. Like I'm sure he doesn't see the live action as the main product. He doesn't see it as, the ultimate adaptation of his work, but he sees it as the ultimate gateway for new fans. So in a way, you should be rooting for it. But if it doesn't work for you, that's perfectly fine. Here looks hair is weird in live action. I think One Piece live action will end after season 3. I wouldn't be surprised. It's still interesting. I wonder if they could give it a satisfying epilogue like Romance Dawn version 1 had, or version 2 actually. Um, if it was forced to end, like if it's forced to end, they should probably tack on an ending rather than like just leave it ongoing. Like it doesn't need to be the ending of the manga, but it could be something like, and they had many adventures and lived together as a family, and Nami did make that chart of the world, and Luffy was the, like, it could be very vague narration kind of montage. But I hate it when series go unfinished, even if it's cut off early. Skypia's budget would be insane. Yeah, I'm concerned about that too. We'll see, we'll see. Part of me is a bit concerned because I think streaming shows in general are losing their budgets. Like even like House of the Dragon and stuff got 2 episodes cut out last minute from its season 2 finale. So the friggin' like season ended up feeling really slow, even though it was pretty decent. It ended up feeling slow. Ended like 4 kids. No, no, that's so funny. 4 Kids actually like was picked up just like a week or two later by Funimation. They made a dub right after and continued where 4 Kids left off, and did Skype on American TV. Before they were taken off as well, and they just went DVD only until they went back to Toonami. But the early Funimation Skypiea stuff, it's basically lost media now. But if you ever find a clip of it, it's really interesting because like they still call him Zolo instead of Zoro, and they call Enaru like the Sky King instead of God because it was like picking up in the same like slot as 4 Kids. There was also a test thing which Funimation made before 4 Kids even got it, where Eric Vale, the future voice of Sanji, played Luffy, which is also interesting. This stuff needs to be archived. Okay, I think I've yapped long enough. This is obviously a recreation of Volume 12's cover, which is probably my favorite cover. Um, Everyone looks amazing. This is probably like if I was to get a poster of One Piece on my wall, it would probably be this because it's the classic poses. Everyone's designs are pretty much perfect here for me. Sanji has the pompadour. Brooks rocking his violin and the Soul King attire. And his cravat, which is really cool. Chopper's design sucks post time skip, but whatever. I'm willing to take that. Jinbei has his right hair color, and he looks sick. All of these people look sick. Robin has the bangs back. Like we are back. I love this cover. And the live action recreation is cute. It's a bit, you know, uncanny, but it's cute. I think the pose just isn't like, a natural poster image. Especially this meat he's holding, right? Because meat doesn't look like that in real life. It's a very cartoonish thing, but like it's charming because it's like saying, "Hey, we're trying to stick close to it." So yeah, I big fan of these 2 covers. So yeah, enough yapping. Let's get into the chapter 1176 with pride, and this is our last chapter for today. Thank you guys so much for enduring my voice for almost 2 hours. This has been a really cool stream, meeting a lot of new people. So like, I'm really glad that I was able to do all 3 of these back to back. Because I'm going away in the next couple of days. So yeah, let's wrap up. Loki's third hive roars out. Ow! It's one hell of a party down there, huh? So we've got Franky's yell out. Um, Knowing how to romanize this real challenge. Like, is it ow like ow? It goes hurt, or is it ow like Viz uses usually. What day is it today? It's Sunday. So has Viz dropped for this chapter yet? Because Viz used to use like AH for it. No, Viz hasn't dropped yet. Okay, yeah. Viz will drop tomorrow. Um, so yeah, I hope that they don't use again, because that's always read really weirdly. Because it's meant to be one of Franky's defining catchphrases. Anyway, Franky turns to Lilith and is like, "What are you doing here, Lilith? Isn't Vegapunk in that box? It's a good thing I unloaded it near the school." So she's talking about the box here, like that the box is nearby the school. It's a good thing it's nearby so we can grab it. I think. But the wording is kind of vague, so it could be that she unloaded parts of its contents. She's just glad she got out at the school, but Presumably, at the school is where they are, like near the school is where they are. I mean, my friends did like joke about like, oh, what if like it got burnt because it was near the school, huh? We just pan over and see that it would be pretty funny if we abandoned the idea of reviving Vegapunk. Like Oda got bad letters about it, and was like, "Oh no, people don't like I'm reviving Vegapunk, so let's burn his body." Anyway, he grabs some. She grabs something from the she. The punks identify as their gender of their body, right? They do, yeah. They do. I think. Anyway, she grabs the Omni Drain converters, ODCs for short. Another 15 hours. Yeah, I know. It's just because it just went past midnight. I'm fairly certain hover tech should be feasible in Elbaf. Huh? Come again? Don't you feel it? Over here, back there, this place is teeming with energy. It's all around us. Have you never tried harnessing anything stronger than color to power yourself? Huh? And we've got the cutest thing ever with Bonnie and Franky hanging off each other. Bonnie, by the way, you can transform into Nika and go and beat up any of these dream demons whenever you want, right? Or can she no longer envision that future? I guess she doesn't need to. Like, she's just being a kid, whatever. But cute stuff here. There's actually cool, like, parallels between Bonnie and Franky. They both had, horrendous real fathers and the most amazing adoptive fathers in Tom and Kuma. So kind of cool that they get to hang out and like she's got a second dad here. Franky getting the fake beards is always really funny, but I like how you still get the like Franky like chin dimples. Um, God, I'm so glad that Franky has the pompadour in this cover thing because usually Oda gives him the buzz cut when they're in their Fishman Island designs. But they're not quite in their Fishman Island designs. Luffy's thing is different. Yeah, it's good. Nami's not on the brow. Everything's how I would want it to be. This is probably like if I were to get a poster of One Piece, it would be this. Um, just because it's the one time where everyone's got the designs I like. It's not like the best drawn color spread ever, but it's just awesome. Anyway, have you never tried using anything but color? Yeah, so like when she's talking about the energy all around us, she could be talking about the fire, but I think she's talking about potential energy and what you can convert it into because she goes on to power the hover with it. Now, we've heard what it takes for the hover to work back in Egghead. She said it relied on the aircon of the island. So she had a climate regulator called the Island Aircon that regulated the environment of Egghead. And she said she could only fly near Egghead due to the climate. So I'm wondering if that's true of Elbaf. It just happens to have the same kind of tropical climate that she needs, or if she can only sustain the hover temporarily because of the fire all around, which she wants to absorb. I don't know. It could be either. It's also not clear if these things work on anything but fire or just fire. But yeah, it's cool. And we've got this hint about Franky powering himself up, which is really cool. Um, Whoa, the flames have grown so much. This is a nightmare. The world really might be ending. Did you see that thing? That dragon was so big it even dwarfs Kaido. Then again, wasn't Luffy on its back? Does that mean it's on our side? That dummy's always pulling some reckless stunt. You ready, Zeus? Yep, I'm good to go. Let's hurry. This will still be tricky, even if we don't have to worry about the kids anymore. And, Robin goes to Soul. Soul's like, I shouldn't be lying on my back. This is disgraceful. Sanji lands and says, are you okay? I think that's Sanji. And Nami's like, here we go. Come on, Zeus. This is urgent. We've got to put out the fire on the schools and the library right now. And she's like, leave it to me, Nami. I saved up plenty of water like you asked. That's perfect. Nami-san, she's ready for anything. pouring rain. The kanji here could be heavy rain, but the katakana was pouring. Tempo! And she, like, thunderous rain rolls down on it. Sanji being a simp, as usual. We love to see it. Zeus, when Zeus gathered the water, I don't know if he did this instantly or has been slowly doing it over time because Nami wants to be ready in case another Onigashima happened. Jinbei not being the one to put out the water is interesting, but I guess there's no big water source nearby other than that one little lake. And that's a bit far from the school. It's on the beach. So I guess it makes sense for Nami to handle this. Zeus, it's a big power up. I like that Nami is using Zeus more. But what I was gonna say about this is these poor books, you know? Like these dang books have been like in fire. They've been like they've been in fire twice, and they're thrown into a lake to survive, and somehow they survived that by drying up the lake, So hopefully the ink isn't ruined. Then they're in this second fire, and then they're like this is treated worse than like my friggin' little cousin's PlayStation controller. Like these books must be so battered and useless by now. Anyway, the rain comes down, and we see Robin pleading for it to work, and Soul's like, "Is that right?" I kind of want to give him like Big the Cat's voice because rain, Froggy, um, rah, go away, rain, go away. um, but then Cunningham rocks up, and we've got the hey, this wasn't part of the deal. Who said you could put out the fire? Yeah, a monster. Watch out, Zeus. Huh? Our terms were clear. You were meant to forsake all this world history crap. Yeah, Zeus. And so Zeus gets eaten by the Lindworm. And Lindworm, one of the kids finds most scary is apparently a Lindworm. the froggy fishing levels you can beat in like 2 minutes if you know what you're doing. Um, yeah, Lindworm, interesting lore stuff. We've got a lot of worms going around these series these days, but they're from different mythologies and different like aesthetics. I saw a par talking about the sandworm on his stream. I would like it more if the sandworm was in Arabasta, to be honest. I kind of wish we saw one. I think if Oda redid Arabasta today, there would be a sandworm. It gives me Dune energy. Anyway, worm or worm, like it could be either, because katakana, but obviously for a Lindworm, we've got an exact romanization for it. Sandworm has been romanized both ways, so it doesn't matter. You just pick whichever one you think is most likely or sounds good. He was our last hope to put out these flames. Who is that guy? He must be one of the three demons. The Odysseys are engaging. Free! And we got the flying frisbee. A cool thing is, someone pointed this out on Par's stream the other day. Second. If you look at Emmett's back, he seems to have an ODC on the back. Wait, maybe Viz calls it Emmett, right? Let's try that. No, we get Doc Brown. I knew it. It's hard to tell, but if you look at his back in Egghead, so it might be that Vegapunk copied this technology, or he used ODCs to try and revive it. Or it could just be unrelated, but it looks like he's got big ODCs on his back. Anyway, so this flying frisbee comes swooping along and it freezes everything. What is this thing? All the flames are out and everything's frozen? Robin's like, what happened? They're like, who cares? Soul's like, who cares? It works. And then Punk pours the energy which she just absorbed into a cola bottle and says, Franky, take this for a whirl. Fun fact is Lilith speaks slightly old-fashionedly, like, you know, the old man, compared to the other punks. Hold up. This bottle, looks kind of like it's gonna burst. Yep, I call it Super Vega Cola. Your internal structure is truly magnificently designed. You're at least on par with the pacifista. So the at least on par part is like she's saying he's in no way inferior in design. But I was shocked to learn that you managed to power yourself on plain old cola. Listen good now. Your fuel is your passion. Again, passion, like last time. Your fuel is your passion. When you use this stuff, your power will explode. Year of Franky, boys. But no, not quite yet. We've got to wait. What? It's so dark. Nami, save me. Zeus, I'm coming. So Robin's like, yo, can you get us to the library? And she's like, yep, you must be really worried about those books that your people left us. My bad. And Cunningham, who's revealing himself to be as big a scumbag as Summers. Maybe not as much, but close. He's like, devour the library, Dream Demon. Don't give them even a glimmer of hope. A new world can only be made by severing things like history. And, Jinbei does his, front stroke and tells Nami to leave Zeus to him. He'll make, the demon spit him out. And we get the racism. Cunningham puts on his bubble, or he was already wearing it, actually. Whoa, is that a fishman? They really are the most repulsive race in the world. If anyone's going to gag, it'll be me. Good thing I brought my mask. And then we've got our boy, who is not with racism, who's down, he's down with the fishmen. He's got fishmen friends, okay? He can't possibly be racist, okay? Sanji is a good person, okay? He's completely fine. Anyway, that elitist attitude of yours, that gross ideology, it's typical for a celestial dragon. Okay. So, our boy Sanji has a history of questionable things he has said to fishermen over the years. I don't want to be the guy who cancels Sanji. Okay? I know the agenda is that Zoro is the racist. And Zoro has said bad things about fishermen. Don't get me wrong. I won't two sides this. But of all people, okay, Sanji should not be the one to defend Jinbei. That was a rotten trick, you crapfish goon. Okay, that's light. That's not that bad. What else did he say during Arlong Park? Let's see. Well, a fish should never pit itself against a cook. Okay, so cannibalism of a sentient human species. Nice, Sanji. Really nice. What else did he say? Oh, wanna test my gallantry, crapfish? Okay, this is still fine. This is still fine. Okay? I can still tolerate this. These fishmen breathe with their lungs on land and switch to their gills in water. So right now, he's just a talking fish. Calling them a talking fish, Sanji. Come on out here, you lousy fish. And like in Japanese, he would be swearing as well. And the creme de la creme. Alright, now Alt F4 yourself. It won't undo your crimes, but at least Nami will feel a little better. And just a week ago, I don't care if you are Jinbei or not. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. So, Sanji, we'll call this character development. We'll say that he's turned over a new leaf and he is no longer judgmental. I kid, but like it's funny to compare how the Straw Hats were acting in Arlong Park before we got the context of the Fishman racism stuff. And now we've got the context that just seems so much worse. It feels like, oh, they got a Fishman friend, and now that they know one, they've got their token Fishman. They're the champions of the Fishman. Like, I would love to see Jinbei react to how they were talking back then. It also reminds me of, like, in Wano, like, Luffy and Co. like watch as Urashima is gonna wind up and punch Kiku Nojo, and Kiku is like, I knew it. I knew you were the kind of man who would hit a woman. And I just wanted the camera to like pan to Luffy and then flashbacks to when he punched Vivi or Big Mom or something. But there's a lot of stuff like that where like it's okay in some contexts when the main characters are doing it or before it like changed. Um but yeah, I'm just saying, Sanji and Zoro, they've got problematic pasts, so it's kind of funny to see him do the lecture. But it's also kind of heartwarming. I suppose Jinbei is one of the good ones for Sanji. Truth. Truth. You really must be out of touch if you don't recognize a warlord like Jinbei. This reminds me of what Luffy said last chapter about, like, don't forget Zoro's name. Now, how are you gonna pay for insulting a member of our crew? How about I kick a hole in that precious mask of yours? And now, Year of Franky. Year of Franky is here. We can smile again. The Year of Franky is real. Everything was building up to the Year of Franky. I don't know why anyone thought this would be Usopp's arc. I mean, everyone knew this would not be Usopp's arc. Everything's on an arc delay, right? So, like, Zoro got more time to shine in Egghead. Because Wano wasn't his arc, He got to fight Lucci. Pretty cool. Franky, he didn't get the time in Egghead, so he got pushed to Elbaf. So Usopp's time is coming in Vera. I'm telling you guys, there's no problem. But no, I don't think it has to be one character or the other. I'm just glad that Franky's getting something, because up until recently, Franky and Brook were the most neglected characters. And they're both getting a cool... One's getting a cool power-up, and one's getting story engagement, so, like, that's cool. I kind of wonder where Brook was last chapter. Did Emu... Could you imagine if we cut to Emu and he was beaten by Brook? But Emu was just looking on at the Nighthawk, and Brook wasn't there, so I wonder what happened to Brook. Hopefully he's not dead. Yo! But yeah, we cut to Franky and the Year of Franky, the year of our Lord. Super! My jumping power is unreal. All my muscles are raring to go. With this boost, any monster that crosses me is gonna be crying for mercy after just one hit. Super strong! And Franky and Jinbei does his one move. He literally just knows one move at this point in the series. Fishman Karate secret technique and Ifrit Jambe. And so Jinbei is going up for the Dino. Well, Jinbei and Franky are on the Dino, and Sanji is probably the tier above now. So kicking the Celestial Dragon. So I actually think Oda is establishing a hierarchy here, where Franky and Jinbei are on the same level now, and Sanji's just a step above. Just because of who they go after. But that could just be a happenstance. But either way, we've got like a new like middle of the crew trio going on here. Hopefully Brook can get some boosts and Robin as well, but I like Nami and Usopp and Chopper as utility players. They don't need to be super strong for me. But I want to see them doing stuff. But yeah, we got this amazing spread with Franky doing super strong Dexter, which is Latin for right, which is also the kanji. And Jinbei at the same time punches with Vagabond Drill, his only move, making him spit out Zeus. And at the same time, Sanji does Konkasie, which is the move he uses to knock out Satori. I'm pretty sure it's the same move he uses to knock out Satori and Skypiea, which is pretty cool. Only now it's on fire. So we saw a powered up move from Luffy from Skypiea last chapter with rifle, and now we've got Konkasie as well. He's totally fart flying again. Yeah, I kind of wish he did the coup de boeuf. Yeah, Dexter, I think of you every time I read this. He did the Franky super strong right hand man Dexter. It makes sense. That's why you're called Dexter. Super reliable dude. I wish it said coup de boeuf, but he doesn't actually do it. Maybe because it's serious. So Oda didn't want to think. Zeus actually gets punched out of his neck, by the way. Franky punches off his neck, I think, and Jinbei punches through, and Zeus is flying out. Is what it seems to be. So, like, they've ripped a hole of its neck, which is pretty gruesome. Speaking of gruesome, yeah, they have, because you can see the neck flying off here. So Zeus comes flying out the neck. Speaking of super gruesome, the demonic giant warrior pirates, yeah, versus the warriors of West Village. And they heal up, and they're like, with this regeneration, we could be cutting them down for all eternity. And every one of them's a familiar face. Just seeing them get hurt pains us too. Sure it does, bud. Sure it does. Yep, you're not gonna backpedal on that in 2 pages. What the hell can we do to stop this? And they're charging. Captain Dory, Captain Broggy. And Broggy speaks. Our favorite, Bruiser Broggy. Dory, are you in there? These two are named after wrestlers, by the way. Dory Funk and Bruiser Brody. I'm barely hanging on, Broggy. We're in utter disgrace. How could we have ever allowed such mindless insults against an esteemed elder like Ja Rule to cross our lips? Taking his head would stain our honor for generations. Right, it never should have come to this. We're in agreement, then. Of course we are. Farewell, partner. We'll never yield to these demons. A whole century of duels. We had a grand time of it together, didn't we? We are warriors of Elbaf. There's nothing left for us but to die with pride. Title drop, and they cut each other's heads off. Really cool. The same formation they always use when they attack. Chiefs! Dory! Broggy! Captain Dory, Captain Broggy, why did they do that? Oh no! And it's undone. I know a lot of people are upset by this. I'm not, because it's not put to us on a cliffhanger. If this image was the last part of the chapter and we didn't get the resurrection in the same chapter, I would be upset, because Oda likes baiting death and then undoing it later in the arc. But when it's on the same page, I'm fine with it, and they are willing to die and blah blah blah. This dialogue was really cool to go through and do, because, you know, it's like the end of these iconic characters, and what would they say to each other? Because they don't know they're going to survive. What would they say to each other? And I really like that they're reflecting on the duels, and Oda's finally ended their duel with a mutual KO. I think that's cool. And we get the reveal that a lot of people are a bit unhappy about, which is, whoop, whoop, they're up and about. You're both back to normal? Their heads are even back in place. That means death breaks the demonic curse. And we kind of like, you know, we're out of pages, so everyone's already posing here, and they don't get up and prepare. They're already in formation, which is pretty funny. It adds some questions, you know. Now, Harold wasn't Domi reversied, he was possessed. Rox was Domi reversied. Did he die twice? Did Garp and Roger kill him, and then did Garling finish it? But that doesn't make sense, because what Dory says here is, our gruesome corpses weren't a pretty sight for you all, but it seems like your body returns to working shape the moment you're flipped back. Did they flip back because they flipped each other? Is that the only way it works? But then that doesn't make sense because what these guys are gonna do is kill the other guys. I mean, they haven't really tested this, so maybe they don't know. But they'll kill the others and hope that they'll flip. But maybe it required them to fight each other to flip back. It's kind of questionable. So what happened with Rox? It's weird. I think that maybe Rox was injured. Maybe the Conqueror's Haki prevents the regeneration. So once you're beaten and you die, you can't heal afterwards. Or maybe Emu left his like influence when he left the island, and it just so happened that Rox was in the middle of healing and had only started the process when the power left him. So maybe if the Domi Reversi is dropped rather than broken, you don't heal. I don't know. It's very questionable. I hope we get clarification on that. I hope we get clarification on when Domi Reversi can be used and on who. Um, so I can understand people being upset about this, but I feel like it's one of those things where Oda just hasn't revealed the limitations yet. Like he hasn't revealed like when Bonnie became Nika, right? It wasn't revealed that there was a limitation on that until next chapter, and everyone lost their minds. They couldn't wait a week. So I'm willing to wait for Oda on this, but I do hope for clarification. Um, I think on the death thing, I don't see this as a fake out death because it's not given a chapter to breathe. It's not even given a page to breathe. It's a one panel into the next. They're fine. Um, I would be really pissed off if this was the end of a chapter, but it's not. So like, it doesn't feel like the Vegapunk's fake out to me. So I can live with this. I'm perfectly fine with this. I think. What's everyone saying? Still technically a draw. You got to keep fighting. Imagine how raw it would be if they just died, though. Holy, yeah, I know, right? Zoro finally fulfilled Usopp's dream for him too. I know a certain best guy who's gonna hate this. Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. My good old friend Nate. I want to do another show with him soon. He's gonna hate this part, but Nate's got a very complicated relationship with One Piece, even more so than me. Which is what makes it fun. I like to take the piss out of One Piece and make fun of it, and playfully mock it, but I still ultimately love it, and I think Nate loves it too. But some people are more skeptical about recent developments than others because they can see the tropiness that happens and the patterns, and are anticipating that. I take it as it comes. I am very critical of certain things. Like I think you have to be secure in your fandom. You have to be secure enough in your fandom to bash on the things that don't work. But as things are unfolding, I think this is just fun. Like as long as it's not as long as it's explained to some degree, I don't mind an instant undoing of something like this. What I mind is when there's a delay and Oda wants to have his cake and eat it too, where he definitively kills off a character for a while and then undoes it. I think that's cheap storytelling. But I just think this is just a very dramatic way of revealing how to undo this. But it raises questions about rocks, which needs to be answered. Anyway, so that means there's no need to hold back against the rest, huh? Yeah. Now we know that you just need to land a lethal blow and they'll be restored. That means lopping off their heads will work. We can even gouge out their hearts. But that's totally out of the question. I mean, they are our friends. Huh? Hey, get the kids back home. They shouldn't be here. Yeah, yeah, because it's gonna get really gory real fast. Look how scared these guys are. And all of these guys have, shit-eating grins. They're like, I feel kind of bad. Yeah, really, my heart's breaking for them. Mine bleeds, honestly. My chest aches too. We're all very reluctant, but you guys better brace yourself. And the warriors square up, as the note says. All of them are clearly being sarcastic and raring to go. And yeah, I really like the ending here. It's kind of funny. They know they shouldn't, you know, be looking forward to this gore fest, considering they're old friends, but they can't help it. Like they get a chance to cut loose and blow off Steve. um, so yeah, I mean, this is pretty funny. The scale of this is ridiculous. I don't know what is going on, but like back in the day, Zoro was not even like the size of Broggy's head. But here, like Zoro seems to come up to his waist. Which is probably perspective. Zoro is probably meant to be way further in the foreground than the rest of them. But I think if Oda wanted to do that, he should have done a low angle shot with all of them towering above him and we see Zoro smile from beneath or something. So I think the composition here is kind of bad because just we get no sense of depth. It just looks like Zoro is up to his waist. I think the anime will probably improve this, but this shot isn't about the composition. It's about the vibes. It's about the hype. So like while we should say Zoro should look this big, I can accept that this is perspective and it's about the vibes. But it's just something I felt I had to note. It's a bit of a eyebrow raising moment. But yeah, we've got this hype moment where they're all squaring up and they're all looking forward to this bloodbath that's about to happen. Real warrior stuff. And yeah, Zara gets to do what he always promised. He gets to steal Usopp's glory in a glorious charge. As my friend Dex made this edit on my behest. I'll have the Giants of Elbaf following my lead in no time. Originally, he said the Warriors of Wano, but I love Usopp's expression here. He's like, "Bro, you're gonna steal my thunder." I should probably tweet this. This is so fun. Maybe I'll do it on Sunday. But yeah, I just love the expression. I love the dialogue change. It's so funny. He also made this alternate version. Well, actually, first we'll see this first from the Ashino Joe thing. This is what I meant by brave warriors of the sea. I want to become a proud warrior like them, bruh. Please let me farm Aura with you. No, what a useless buff. Oh, it's so funny. For me, what Usopp's moment should have been would have been with Ja Rule, actually. I think he should have when he got to Elbaf, he should have been very disappointed by the school and other stuff, and he could have talked to Dory and Broggy about it, and they could have been like, yeah, honestly, we're not sure about it too. We've been gone 100 years, things have really changed. But Elder Ja Rule seems to think it's for the best, and we respect him and Harold, so we will see. I mean, warrior pride is still important to some of us. And then Usopp could like have a bit of an argument and a passionate like, you guys shouldn't forget the pride, like, during the party thing. And then at the end, when Ja Rule is doing the final speech, he could look over at Usopp and be like, there's one thing you demons don't realize we have. Warrior's pride. And then like Usopp can be like, damn right. Like so like Usopp kind of revived it for Elbaf. That's what I would have done. I think Oda might have done that with more editing, because all of the ideas are there, but the through line of it being a conflict and then it having a resolution because of Usopp, I think that would have been a cool thing Usopp could do without fighting. Because I don't. Usopp doesn't need to be a fighter to be important. He just needs to be a motivator and a utility player. So I think that would have been cool. Last meme to share real quick is from Dex. He did a second version of that edit. Where is that? Yeah, he did them all standing in front. I'll have the giants of Elbaf eating out of my string in no time. What? It's fun, although they're a bit blurry for being in the foreground. Good stuff. Good stuff. Fun chapter, very memeable, very hype stuff. Um Ultimately, of the three chapters, I think this one is my least favorite. I think the coolest thing that came from this is the Year of Franky stuff. Love that. But I think I'm gonna give this one a 7.8. So, in order of my favorites, I think my favorite was the first chapter we did today, 1147, and my least favorite was this most recent one, but this one was still awesome. Like, I just talked about it for ages, so really good stuff. Which chapter of the three was your guys' favorites, and what would you rate this one? Yeah, it's cool, Dex, no worries. Bumps up a Jember does. Hilarious. Usopp should have had the rallying speech. Yeah, we agree, Carl. You love seeing the Giants all riled up for war. The first of the three was the best. Latest chapter was fine, but nothing particularly amazing. Yeah, me and Carl are on the same page. Okay. 1175 was really good. Yeah, that the dragon reveal. Actually, no, it didn't. It had the punching. It had the Thor stuff, and it had the lore. Yeah, that is good. It's just I see it as the middle of the pack. First chapter's a 9, second's a 7, this one's a 6.5. Ooh, that's a sharper drop than me. But I do agree with the trajectory. I would say 9, 8, and 7.5. You're gonna stop reading the series? Come on, Aisha. You gotta have fun reacting. There was a lot of cool stuff here if you're willing to go for the ride and see what happens. But I can understand that there's some disappointment here too. I'm just curious. I think we're nearing the end of Elbaf, so I'm gonna look forward to that. Thankfully, we've got a break week, so I can rest my voice. Thank you so much for everyone who popped into the stream today, especially the new people and Par and everyone. Really means a lot to me. This was a pretty long one, but we covered 3 chapters, so that's cool. Um, you're interested in my thoughts now? That's cool. That's cool. I'm interested in your thoughts as usual, and it's always cool to chat about you guys and chill after the chapter. So I think I might make Saturday around the time I started the default time for these streams. Um, Nowadays. Um, yeah. And to stay completely on theme, I hope everyone has a really good International Women's Day tomorrow. I know that's unrelated, but I just got a notification on my phone. And yeah, I hope everyone has a really, really good Ramadan for anyone celebrating and a good break week. I'm gonna try and get back to more content for One Piece soon. But yeah, it's really cool that we had so many people participating today. I'm really glad I did this marathon, even though my voice is dying. Red boys, we gotta sleep. Yeah, I'm gonna go too. Yes, thank you guys so much, and until the next time, see you.